So basically, just to give you a quick background, my quote-unquote superpower is I can take, as long as it's a service-based type of business, I'll find any way possible, regardless if it's online or offline, and find a way to get your clients, customers, right?
Brando, hey, let me tell you the truth. It's not about who you know, but who knows you. Brando, it's your story. You can rewrite it if you so choose. It's your life. You decide those moves. Brando, you wanna talk about getting the bag? He built a 7-figure brand from scratch. Brando, it's the Brand Up podcast, but you already know. Enough talking, bro. Let's start this show. Brando.
So that's my ability, in my opinion, at least. So how do I know that the process that I'm coming up with works? You're here.
Yes, it was number one when I just look on Google.
So that was my first
And
question.
she has the most advertisement that I look at.
Do you remember what did you search
competitors.
for?
Huh?
Do you remember what exactly you searched for? Like, what-
Eyelashes, extensions, courses, something like that.
yeah. And then, so you found one of the ads, you clicked on it, what happened next?
So she was the first one, but I never choose the first one. That's my, I don't know, I just do it this way. And then I go through all of them. And she has the most advertisements. She was the one who was always talking. And then she had my accent. And then what she was talking was very simple, easy, and understandable, even for me who never done this before.
So let me
And then
pause you first.
I texted and I called, maybe called right? She replied for me in a few minutes, which I did with somebody else and we never replied. And we just talk and then discuss, and I'm like, you know what, I need to do it before I leave Lithuania.
You originally from Lithuania?
Yes.
I had the first guy that actually helped us with most of the videos.
Oh,
He
my
was-
brother is IT guy. He works with international banks back in
In Malta.
Lithuania.
In Malta.
Malta's my brother.
No, he didn't have a sister.
There are a lot
Maybe you don't know.
How does he
my
look?
God,
Tall,
he was
tall,
very
build,
tall.
short hair?
Yes, all Lithuanians like that.
You have a picture with him?
I have
Maybe
one.
on Instagram. But
Doesn't have Instagram. He has Facebook. At least I sign on.
no, he doesn't. His Instagram was IrmantasJS. This would be
My
the craziest. This would
He's
be the
very
craziest.
smart, good guy, and
He.
That's his Instagram, but I don't see pictures with him.
This would be the
That's
craziest
not my
thing.
That would be crazy.
This would be the craziest thing.
but he works with everybody like that.
He does. No, he.
He was with us for years. He
Yeah.
edited.
So he was first in Boston on.
And he was
HTV.
here too.
He
Yeah.
worked for a moving company. That's where we met.
Oh. No.
So then it's not him. This would have been the craziest small world. But you said a few things that I want to go back. First was relatability. So you said she had my. Well, first, the most important thing was the fact that she replied, right? So that's the number one problem in a lot of businesses that I have contact with. So my first company that I started here in Boston in 2015 was a moving and storage business. Super basic, nothing sexy, nothing, but when people need it, they go to Google, they search for mover near me, whoever shows up, they either call or if it's really late, they put a request online. And then in the first, when you unless you have a big budget, and let's see, if you come from money or whatever, and then you have a big budget, you can afford to lose a lot of leads. But then when you try to bootstrap, meaning every money that you put in, somehow you have to make it work in a positive ROI. The leads are the most crucial thing that you have to really nurture and follow up with. And there's no such a thing as, I don't want to follow up with people too much because I can annoy. We get bombarded every day with, I think it was a study recently done, with more than 3,000 ads or all kinds of like videos and entertainment. And you have to remember, you compete with funny memes and dogs and cute cats and pets. So are you a pet owner? Do you own any pet?
I used to own the house and the pets, but I'm going through divorce. We just sold everything, and then he took the dog, and I said okay because he
Sorry
has
about
feed it. No, it's okay. It's a long time ago.
But no, the reason I asked you is, when you when we understand, because I'm assuming eventually you want to turn this into a business, right? Or at least a side hustle you do on the side.
Right.
And that's my next question to you, because what I want to do here is based on your plan today, right? Because we can talk in 6 months and you might say, Marian, I changed my mind. I want to
Say
go
your
full
name
time.
again?
It's Marian,
Marian.
the European way.
Okay.
But I'm getting used to the with the American way of saying it. But
Right. My name we cannot pronounce either. My name is Jurgita.
Jurgita.
Jurgita. For us it's easy, I guess. And I'm
It's,
from America, it takes time.
But what I was struggling with, apparently Marian here, it's a girl's name, and my voice and my beard really, I don't have a problem with. But anyway, my point was, when we understand the fact that we get hit every day with so many ads and videos and whatnot, as business owners, especially when you transition, do you work full time now? Do you have a job that you?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you transition from having a schedule, the boss, the company tells you what to do on almost hour by hour. What field? What industry?
Well, it's a long story, but
No, I'm just.
I don't know. My parents are business people.
Okay.
We never had any loans. We have businesses, successful mansions. And I came here to study. And I used to work at the banks. Then I used to do this and that. I finished 2 master's degrees with Senate recognition, and I got overqualified. The immigration told me that I'm too smart for this country. So I was illegal 3 years. So I needed to figure out what to do. So I did figure out. And I got married. After 5 years, divorced. But for now, I work as a nurse caregiver for older people, and I love it because I like to nourish people. I like to lift them up. But then at the same time, I used to also work at a fine dining big restaurant at a hotel in North Falmouth on Cape Cod.
Yep.
I used to be the manager for like 90 people, but it was way too much happening, and I'm like, 100,000 a year and work 24/7 doesn't make any sense. And then management changed, and I said, you know what? Now it's a time for me to find something that I like it, that doesn't take my energy, and that's something that, like, I was doing those eyelashes, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think about nothing. I'm just here. I'm not stressed. I'm not upset. I don't need to think too much for the future. You just need to do it. It's so easy. I used to study MBA. I did MBA with Senate recognition. And I used to be the leader all the time. So, and it's a lot of responsibility, a lot of, things that you need to accomplish. And I'm like, you know what? I want to nourish people. I want to encourage them. I want to do something with them, but I don't know what they want. And for me, I would tell my parents, oh, I want to do eyelashes. Like, what? You do eyelashes? Everybody expected me that I will be CEO of like multi-billionaire companies.
But it's I don't know if you're familiar with Gary Vee. He's a guy I think they have almost close to 2,000 marketing agencies wide. They're in New York, but he's from Belarus originally. I think they moved here when he was 2 years old or something like that. And he had a similar story. The dad actually built a business here, wine store. Anyway, bottom line was going from being the CEO, or in your case, you were managing, you said 90 employees.
I used to.
And then dealing with so many things that come out of 90 employees. The most that I manage summertime is like 35. I think 37 was the highest.
But you work for yourself. I need to listen.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody telling me what to do, and I cannot do it.
So
if I don't have respect to this person, it doesn't work with me.
What doesn't?
So when you work for yourself, you make your own choices. You make your own decisions. Like me, then you work for big corporations. If somebody tells you from there, you kind of need to listen.
You have to execute it.
Yeah, and this doesn't work for me like that.
But that was my next point, because when you transition from being told what to do and having a schedule that you pretty much have to follow on a day-to-day basis, and then at the same time you still have to manage all the people, and then you start, let's say, something like a salon, but at first you're still a one-person show. Right now, if you were able, how long you've been managing the team of 90 people?
3 years.
3 years. So that tells me that you are fine under pressure and dealing with stress. I don't know if Cosmina, my wife, had a chance to tell you about her previous business, the cleaning company. She's really a micromanager, meaning she wants everything done by the book, like every little thing. And then when something goes bad from her standards, not necessarily the market standard, because the business had only 5-star reviews, which, if you think about it, the market sets the standard, right? Because if the reviews online are 5 stars, but you're still not, thank you, you're still not happy with the way the employees, it's just a matter to understand yourself. So me and her, we're very different. I'm fine having to deal with stress and a lot of people and all that. And I know, all right, if I make mistakes, so one of the biggest mistakes that I did was when we started the company, the first year in business, we did 220K. The second year we did 1.2 million, which it sounds good in theory, but the mistakes that we were making at 200K, when you 7x, 6.5x it, those mistakes, they start to add up and you don't realize, I was focusing on growth, so let's press the pedal, boom, boom, boom. I understood marketing very quickly because of some bad experience with the people that I hired to manage the marketing for us. And they were just bringing me a bunch of reports with traffic, but there was like, the phone was not ringing. And I'm like, I don't give a crap. You keep showing me these results, but there's no phone calls to talk to, and I already paid you $5,000, $6,000. I'm bootstrapping this. Like, if I pay $6,000 and I'm not at least breaking even, what are we doing here, right? So there, of course, it will come to a point. Like, at first, you're just gonna have to learn to manage your own schedule, and managing the leads would be the most important task of the day to be able to. Did you have any sales experience at all first, or no? I mean, in all these calls over the phone, like sales calls over the phone. Were you able?
I had supervisors to do it.
They were handling the
Sometimes
sales.
depends.
Okay.
Most of
So,
them.
because you had a good point. When you called or texted, she replied in a couple minutes, right? That, if you can take one thing out of everything that we'll talk today, that should be the number one thing to remember, right? So let's assume, actually, you tell me, what do you want to happen? Let's say you have a magic wand. Let's say in a few weeks you are already confident with your ability to provide the service and whatnot. What do you want to happen in 6 months?
Yeah, planning, huh?
Well, we want to work it backwards.
I want to have the full schedule, like 40 hours. I don't feel it's going to
be Let's not talk in hours, because now hours are not as relevant.
6 months. It's not 2 months.
No. I said let's not talk in hours. Hours are not relevant as a business owners. Let's talk in clients, or maybe.
That's what I meant to say. In my head, 40 hours means 40 people.
40 people?
Yes.
You want to be an overachiever and do one person in 1 hour? All right. So before we reverse engineer those 40 clients, let's talk a little bit about the service. Like, before this, were you getting your lashes done as a client?
Yes.
Gotcha.
5 years.
For 5 years?
Yeah.
Perfect. At the same salon all the time, or you switched?
I switched because the first lady, she left to Florida, and then I found another one.
She left Florida.
The first one.
And then the second one,
I got because I did the hair with her mom, and I still do hair.
So what? About 3 years and a half with the same person?
Yeah, probably.
Perfect. What do you think is lashes a service that women need? Like, if tomorrow the world ends, do women need lashes?
No.
What does that mean for the service itself? It puts it in it's not a necessary service. It puts it in a bucket that's called luxury service. The reason that's important is, once we understand that, we now know, all right, roughly, let's say, how much you were paying, if you don't mind, over there for a set? $200?
$80?
80 for refill, but then the first time,
I don't know, 120?
Oh, it's pretty cheap, huh?
Yeah.
This is in Cape Cod.
Yes.
It's
But there are places like Russian girls that play. She's pricey.
no, it's supply and demand, and it all depends. We had this conversation with someone, with another student, I think 3 weeks ago. She said, "I'm planning to do it from home." I mean, she's already been doing it from home, and she had this question about, all right, but how? At what point can I raise my prices versus how do I do market research if all my competitors are actually having a salon or they're doing it from a salon? And I said, look, yes, it's a valid point that I shouldn't say never, but you're not gonna start charging exactly like what the, let's say the highest end salon in Cape Cod does if the plan is to do it from home. Right? You just have to be upfront with your clients, and you just have to understand that, and that's fine. On the other side, you don't pay extra rent, right? So then the difference in price will come up from there. And then she said, "Well, I found a place, and it's $1,000 a month. When do you think I'm ready for me to move to that place?" And I said, "Well, do you make $1,000 from lashes already?" No. All right, let's not focus on getting the $1,000 rent yet.
Right.
Let's put that money into some Google campaigns, Instagram campaigns. Let's get you a few more referrals that you can get the monthly recurring revenue at least over $1,000. Because you think in theory, all right, $1,000, but $1,000. If you charge $1,000, that's not all profit, and you still have, things to pay. You still have expenses. So let's take it to a $1,500 a month, and then that $1,000 you can, and now you can increase. Now you can start slowly. Typically, you're looking at 20% increase when you raise your prices, and you have to be okay understanding that probably 20% of your clients will stop coming, because if you start from home, it's going to be a clientele that you build that can not necessarily just afford, because $20 increase, 20% increase out of $100. So let's say you said you pay $80 for the refill. 20%, it's $96, right? 20%, it's $16 extra. So it's $96. It doesn't make a huge, it's like 2 coffees, right? It doesn't make a huge.
I don't buy those coffees, way too expensive.
It's, I agree. But it doesn't make a huge difference in someone's life. However, there will be some people that will just set their standard in terms of, right, I cannot pay more than this service if this happens here, if the salon that's higher end and whatever charge $100, for example, right? And it's just, you have to be okay with, but if you raise your prices with 20% and 20% of your clients leave, you're still gonna make more money because of the difference. Now, of course, you're not raising your prices until you're booked up, right? So at first, there's a little, I guess, math to do. How long it's going to take you to do a full set, because a full set versus the refill, it's a little bit of a difference, right? So let's assume
I told you.
let's assume it's $200 for first time visit. My handwriting is awful, so let me know if you don't understand. And then what is it for refill? 150? 120? I mean, let's make it 100 just to make the numbers easy. So, and then this is 2 times a month, because it's every 2 weeks, right? So if somebody has to pay $200 plus another $200 for the first month, and then we have an additional, on average, if you do a decent job, people will stay about a year on average with the same salon or the same lash tech. Various reasons why someone will leave. It can be they have to travel down south and they want to take a break. They might have an infection for a little bit or whatever. But if it's, let's say it's 10 months additionally to the first month in here, just to make the numbers easy. So that would be an extra 2,000. So roughly 24 on average, 24 to what is the other? So let's say 24 to 3,000 on average for one client per year. Now, 3,000 to pay, and then possibly even more depending on, if they want mega volume or whatever. 3,000 roughly for someone to pay per year just for lashes alone is not necessarily cheap, right? It's a service, again, like we talked at the beginning, it's going into the bucket of being a luxury service. What does that tell us? We have to understand how to set a client persona avatar the way that we did it when Cosmina started the salon. We said, right, we have to give this person a name. We have to understand what's the age bracket that this person falls into, what type of job roughly she has. So we said her name is, so we'll call it client avatar. Her name is Jenny, and she's roughly 43 plus years old. She lives in Winchester, which is just 15 minutes away. Winchester, Mass. And she works either in a bank, real estate, or finance, making roughly 65K to 75K a year. Why is this important? You now have an idea about where Jenny is hanging around, what kind of groups is she into. Doesn't mean just Facebook groups or Reddit, or this can also mean events, right? You might want to go to a real estate event because a lot of the successful women in real estate, obviously they care about their look. They care about, they put money into like how they dress, how they, all the makeup and the hair and the lashes, right? Like at first, you also have to understand, all right, what does the service itself, what do you think lashes do? The most important thing that lashes do for a successful, let's say, woman that works in a bank, real estate, or finance. It saves her time because in the morning, she doesn't have to spend. So once we know, for some, especially, women spend a lot of time in the morning getting ready to go to work. In this case, someone that has a lot of meetings as a real agent in this case, or maybe a real estate broker, or maybe like for my moving company, one of the biggest and the most successful referral, it's a real estate broker owner, and she actually falls into this exact, it's funny, she's not actually a client of yours, but we need to put her in touch.
The other one is the other realtor.
Regina.
Regina.
Yeah. So once we know that the most important thing that lashes do for a client like this, now we know when we do either postcards, let's say you go to this event and you have a table booth, or you have a booth with a tablecloth on it, like what the headline can be, right? Like you have to, are you familiar with ChatGPT? ChatGPT?
We just talked about this early.
You have to download the app and you have to start using it starting tonight. Because it's even for your parents, because it works in any language. Yeah. Like even voice. Like I showed my dad over FaceTime and he was like, like, is that real? It works in any language. And there's no task in the world that you can tell me that I cannot come up with something to save you, I don't know, whatever, reports, financial reports. You can take screenshots of your 12 months of bank statements, and you can tell GPT, now make me a list of all the poorest choices that I did with my spending habits. And literally, based on the screenshot that you give him, it's gonna help you do that. You tell him, so market research, especially in your case, you tell ChatGPT, my name is, and I am going to start my lash business here in Cape Cod. Do the market research for me, especially the newest model now, the newest update. Do the market research for me and give me the top 5 direct competitors, inspect their website, inspect their name of the salon, and give me 10 options for a catchy name for my lash business. ChatGPT is going to give you a list of 10 and then you can choose one from there. Then you can say, now make a list of all the complementary businesses that could refer me clients, meaning hair salons that do not sell lashes, nail salons, everything in between. Pretty much a restaurant can give you clients. Like from the moment you start your business, any interaction that you have, anywhere you go, you have to have this in mind that the server that brings your dinner can bring you customers. You just have to have a business card that has on the back a QR code. Yeah, you can use Vistaprint, Canva, Canva.com. Canva.com integrates with ChatGPT now. Yeah, Canva, Canva.com.
The one that you took a screenshot. Canva.
Okay.
It's the easiest to use because it's all drag and drop. You don't have to.
Oh, the one you did certificate?
Anything that you can imagine on Canva, you can. And now, like if you upgrade to the $10 a month paid version, it has 10,000 more options.
And then we send you to your mail? How you get them?
So in Canva, you design them. And then you go to vistaprint.com, Vista, V-I-S-T-A, print.com, and you upload the PDF design to Vistaprint, and they'll send you I mean, they're super cheap, with like $50, you get like 1,000 of them, probably more. And then if you wait, this is another trick. Once you purchase, on the last page, pretty much in the receipt, is going to give you an option, hey, pay $10 more and get additional 1,000. So it's, and then you create a QR code on the back. And the one thing you have to remember, always have this in mind. Doesn't matter if it's for your clients or if it's for your possible partners. Referrals, anybody that can refer you to a client to you, it's a possible partner, right? Like you have to think, what's in it for them? Why they should refer somebody to me, right? I don't know if you've had this at the hotel or not, or any other company that you work for, but people, they have a lot on their plate for themselves than just to think, oh, I want to refer somebody to get their lashes done just because. But if you tell them that you'll get a $20 check from me or $25 check from me every time when you send an actual client, well, now the situation changes because in 4 clients it's $100, and it doesn't cost them anything, right? Like if a girl, it's a server, most likely she has another 20 friends that are girls that get their lashes done eventually, right? So knowing that, oh, I can get, or if it's a client of yours, that person should get a $25 discount next time they come if they refer you somebody, right? So it's all, you have to keep this in mind. In order for someone to become interested in sending you a client, it has to be something for them on the table, right? So ideally, for a service that's $100, $25, it's a good deal to give them as a discount. And the reason you have to understand, this is actually a really good deal for both of you, but you're the one that wins the most because business is just, it's a pay-to-play game. Doesn't matter, you either pay with time at first or you pay with money when you're ready to scale, right? Like always think about an advertising campaign as a light switch. When you need clients, you should turn it on. But an advertising campaign, it's also a referral program when you have people to send you clients. It's just, that one, it's not as controllable. Like you cannot force somebody to send you more referrals, but you can always put more money into a campaign on Google. You can always put more money into an advertising campaign on Instagram, right? So that's how you scale predictably. That's what, when you know, all right, and you're gonna end up paying more than $25 to get an actual paid client to the door, right? Typically, for the salon now, the lead is roughly around $20 to $40, but that's a lead. Lead means a person that puts their name, email, and phone number because they want to retrieve a discount for, let's say, classic lashes, right? But that doesn't mean that they already become a client. Now it's the sales process and then Kuzmina has to put the sales hat on to sell the it's the same for trainings. Actually, it's a little more expensive, but it's the same thing. She has to put the hat on, the sales hat on, to sell the training over the phone or in text, or to do follow-up if until the deposit is paid, because it's the same process. For lashes, it's $30, right? For trainings, it's what, 500? So until the deposit is paid, that person cannot be called a paid client yet, right? And even with that, it's a small percentage that can reschedule because it's life at the end of the day, right? So understanding the reason that I started, typically for a while I was beginning with ads and all the tech stuff, but after a while I realized, well, a lot of people are going to be afraid to spend money at first on advertising campaigns. But when you think about, well, you go tonight and have a dinner, if you have a business card with you and then you realize you have a good report with the server, what does it cost you to give her a business card and say, hey, you know, I actually do lashes, or you can even compliment, right? It's always about report. The first thing that you said when Kuzmina, when you clicked on the ad, you said, well, she responded, and then the second thing you said, and she had my accent. That you don't realize now, but that's the first report in your mind that you related to her a little more than if somebody that didn't have an accent, right? It's the same thing when, like, you know, the server comes and at the table, you know, they take your order, and you'll realize if the server is trained to sell, they have to find a way to relate with you. I don't know if you remember 3 weeks ago when we were at the Earl's, the guy that came said, oh, I remember you guys, you've been here a few times. No, first he asked, is this your first time here? And we said, oh no, we come here all the time. And then his response was, oh, actually now that I remember, I've served you guys a couple times and you were at the other table. Who knows where, at what table, right? Like, but he knew, he was smart to bring back the fact that, like, he tried to relate with us in a way that now you let your guard down, right? Like now it's not, because even though you go to the restaurant, they still have to sell you. They have to push a dessert. They have to, hey, can I bring you, do a refill of your wine or whatever. It's all sell. Us people, we hate to be sold to. Well, we love to buy. It's just we have to find a way to get the guard down of the person that we're trying to sell, and then the easiest way to do that is to build rapport. So, in theory, depending how expensive or how high the price for whatever you're selling is, you need anywhere from 5 all the way to 12 touch points that increase the rapport of the between the two people talking. You said first she responded well, so you were impressed. Second was the accent. You don't realize, but that one, it's actually, it probably replaced 3 to 4 touch points, because now you felt more like home, more like with someone that's already kind of.
My home is different.
No. I mean, you felt at ease because you almost felt like, oh, somebody's gonna understand where I'm coming from or whatever, like, things like that. Then I can't remember exactly what else you said. So then you talked over the phone a couple times.
Advertisements, and the way she was talking on the Instagram thing.
Oh, you went on Instagram after?
Absolutely.
So, and then you watch any of her stories?
Absolutely.
You saw the dog at some point in the story or no?
Yeah, when you're home. Right?
So, again, you probably don't realize now, but because you used to have a dog, especially as pet owners, the moment you see somebody, like you put 2 people that sell the same thing. I'm a pet owner. One of the people that sells the service, it's not a pet owner, and the other one is. 80% chances more I'll buy from the one that's a pet owner. It's because I relate. Oh, he gets me. She gets me. Like whatever. It's just the way that the brain works. And then once you understand, all right, everybody that I meet on a daily, weekly basis can become a referral for me. Now you understand, all right, what's in it for them? So $25 if it's a a coupon for someone that doesn't come at my salon, or somebody that does come, it'll just be a discount, which is even better for you, right? Because again, we pay per lead $20 to $40. Roughly, you need, or your goal would be to get to 50% conversion rate. Meaning, if you have 10 leads, you should convert 5 from the online campaigns. Because for those people, it's nobody will know you. Because if you put the ad online, it's I want more people to find out about my services, right? You do it on Google is based on the search intent, but you go to Instagram is based on social interactions, and then you have to make an offer so good that somebody has to stop, right? Do you use Instagram on a daily basis, or you do? So from this point on, understand why you stop when you stop, because we all do this. We just like scroll, and then eventually you'll stop. Somebody puts something in front of you that you'll stop. So write down what stops you, like tonight or tomorrow when you're Instagram. Write down at least 5 to 10 times when you stop. Why did you stop? And then try to replicate that when you post for your business, right? I'm always a big fan of not reinventing the wheel. What does that mean? When you do your market research, you look, I'm assuming the plan is to do this in Cape or close to Boston.
No, we'll see. I'm not attached to anything, so if I will decide Boston, I do it Boston. But I mean, to begin with, I should do at home or close to home.
Okay. So no, the reason I'm asking is when you do the market research there, it's going to be a lot different than if you do it here, right? Because it's, again, at first you look at the top 5 competitors. Maybe you don't have 5. Maybe you only have 1 competitor that's really in the proximity, right? If that's the case, it's even better. I shouldn't say necessarily it's even better, but you have to look at, is this person offering just lash services, or it's a salon that does hair and does this and does that, and they do also lashes, right? Because that would be almost like an indirect competitor. You'll have to, if you really want to take it to another level, you'll go there and pay for a service to see what the flaws are. You can look in the reviews typically. Don't read like the 5 stars, read the 3 stars and below. Those are the actual issues that the company have, because it's hard to milk a 5-star, like a legit 5-star review from a person. Of course, you have to ask, but if somebody has a bad experience, trust me, they will go online and leave a bad review. So this is also to keep in mind for the future. If something does happen, let's say you have a bad day, and because you have to understand, you cannot make every person happy or like 100% fully happy. It's just the way it is. But you have to do your best to at least, if something does go bad, you might have to work for free a little bit, like an extra hour to make them happy. Or I always tell Cosmina, look, 1 bad review will haunt you for months or possible years.
Right.
It's better to just don't take it personal, refund the money if you'd have to. $200 is not gonna make you rich, and it's not gonna make you poor either. So trust me, it's just, of course, you collect the signature when you do that, and if you don't know what verbiage to use, you ask ChatGPT, because it's going to give you exactly the verbiage. If you have to do a refund, I don't know if you had one situation in the whole time. It happened with, oh no, that one just left at the, they didn't even get the service. It was when she opened the first time, the salon, it was not even a salon, it was an office next to my office. And inside, she turned it into a beautiful salon. But from outside, it was a commercial area. And one girl came, I think it was after 5:30 in winter time. And there was a bunch of trucks around. It didn't look like and she just got scared and left. But, it happens. It wasn't a scenario with the review, but I just remember that. So, questions about this so far?
No.
Now, the most important things, like when you start your business, you will need, and you can write this down, the Google Maps listing, which is the Google business account.
How get that?
You just need a Gmail account, like the oldest Gmail account that you have. You can literally go to Google and type in create a Google business listing. It's most likely the one that you clicked on when you searched for. Then the second is the Instagram account that has to be a business account. And then at the same time, a Facebook business page. And
what?
this is different.
Say the last two words.
Facebook business page or Facebook fan page, it was called in the past. It's very important to have the Instagram as a business account. It has to be a professional account. That's what it's called. Now it's your decision if you want to keep the personal one that you use and turn it into a business. It's doable from a technical standpoint. But if you have a lot of photos, just random photos that do not match, it's better to create a new one. Very important to have the name consistent on all of them. So try to avoid underscores in the username. Again, at first, the easiest way to do it, you can ask ChatGPT to come up with 10 to 20 catchy business names for the lash industry. But then before you pick one, or let's say you out of the 20 that ChatGPT will pick, let's say 5, and then search on Instagram to make sure that it's available. Then you can go to GoDaddy.com.
Say again?
GoDaddy.com, and you have to search for the domain name. So let's say in Cosmina's case, Limit Lashes. On Instagram would be @LimitLashes, but then you have to go to GoDaddy.com to search for LimitLashes.com to see if it's available. And I see a lot of people having, lashes by Donna, let's say, but then they don't find that one available and they do lashes _by _ it doesn't work. It's the worst thing that you can do. It affects SEO, it affects a lot of things. But also, when you create your Google business profile, Google now allows you to post all the social profile links from all the platforms. I just gave you, but I do suggest to create a TikTok account, to create a Pinterest account.
Do you do TikTok?
I do.
And what do you do with it?
It's the same videos that she posts on Instagram, she posts them on TikTok. It's the same.
I mean, I have TikTok, yeah, but I don't use it. I just look at it.
Oh, if you have it, you
Not
can change them.
often, but
You can change. You have the videos posted automatically
Every
because
day.
we have the setting that. No, but the point is, up until I think 6 months ago, it was really hard to be able to link the social profiles to Google. Now, it pretty much opened up because it was a lot of requests. It opened up a section in there in the profile that asks you for the TikTok account, the Pinterest account, the YouTube account. Even if you don't have necessarily accounts, you should create them because it's the best way to tell Google, I'm a legit business and I have all these accounts. And now all the links, they go back to Google, which just tells Google more and more, this is a legit business. Because, it's a lot of scams, a lot of people, they just sell like fake accounts and all that. And Google is really tracking down to all of these. So I always tell all the students, especially the last 6 months when Google made this available, it's a gold mine to have all of them. Like, you have no idea how hard we tried for years to be able to link all these social profiles. And on top of that, YouTube is pretty much the second biggest search engine in the world, and it's owned by Google. So all the videos that you do post on Instagram, why not? You should post them on YouTube Shorts as well. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. If you make the effort to create the videos, and you should, because it's not, you don't post the video just to feel good about yourself. You post the videos to get business. It's just the name of the game. It's the easiest way to build trust. Now, if you're not comfortable on camera, are you Have you ever created videos?
No.
No. If you're not comfortable on camera at first, I always give these two options. First, you can record the work that you do. Doesn't matter if it's on a mannequin, like you have the phone on top.
She did it.
Yeah. So,
Beginning.
and we're actually thinking, because a lot of students struggle with this. We're thinking to actually put together a class here to help everybody
Right, to be
actually
more
record
confident.
and to record a couple of videos, and then to because Vina can show it in like probably less than 5 minutes how she uses 2 apps to just put all the captions and all that together. It's like super easy now with all the AI editing. But the first option is, all right, you don't show your face, you don't show yourself, you just show the work that you do. Actually, it's 3 options. The second option is you put the phone somewhere, it still records you, but you don't look at the camera. It's almost like a B-roll. Like you can put it on slow-mo, or you can speed it up, whatever. And then you can add voiceovers. Or the third option, and this is my favorite, because I did work with a lot of people that they're afraid or they feel so uncomfortable to look straight at the camera. So what I tell them is, we put the camera and I interview them on Zoom with questions about their specific industry, and then the camera records at 45 degrees. So it's almost like a podcast. So think about this setup here. And one, it builds authority because you are being interviewed. Now, at first, if nobody interviews you, you go to Quora.com, if you want to write it down, or answerthepublic.com. You put the word of the industry, so in this case, lash extensions, and these sites will give you all the questions that people ask about the industry that you put there. So in this case, if it's lash extensions, you're gonna see a bunch of how much it costs to get lash extensions in Boston, how much it costs to get lash extensions in Cape Cod, how much, right? How long you should have them on, how long after you should take a break, how long, what the aftercare should be, like all kinds of questions that you should know the answer eventually. And then you respond. But because you don't look at the camera after a couple takes, it becomes so natural because you don't look, you read from the, you have a laptop in front of you, you read from the screen the question, and then you answer. If you want to take it to a step even at a higher level, you put a mic in there and it actually looks like a podcast interview. So you choose from these 3 options which one, first, the easiest way is to find a way that has the least amount of friction. It's like if you're really uncomfortable, all right, start with, don't be on camera at first, right? Then you take it a step further and record it as a B-roll, and then you add the voiceover. And that's fine, and eventually you'll find your voice, and you don't care if you have 3 views, you don't care if you have 6 views. You have to think, I'm doing it to find my own voice and to feel comfortable doing this on a daily basis, because you never know. Like now you might think, all right, my ideal, from what you've told me, I come up with the idea that you deal fine with stress, you deal fine with a lot of people. When I had this discussion with Cosmina, and I said, look, in order to scale this business, we have 2 versions. One, we either open a salon in every major city in Mass. So let's say you have one in Medford, we do one in Boston, we do one in South Boston, do one in Somerville, one in Cambridge. And immediately she said, no, I don't want to bore you. And I said, all right, that's fine. The second way is we have to scale you vertically yourself, your skill set. She was already doing lashes for 3-4 years. I said, now the way to scale yourself is offering classes, online courses, YouTube channel, podcast, whatever. But then again, other insecurities kick in. Oh, but why would someone listen to me? Well, think about yourself 3-4 years ago when you got started. Didn't you want somebody that you could ask questions, that he wasn't like 20 years ahead of you, somebody that's only a couple steps in front of you? That's the person that you're helping. You're not helping somebody that's, because her rebuttal was, yeah, but why somebody would listen to me when I know other girls that have been doing this for 10 years and then don't train. And I said, well, guess what? You're not helping them. You're helping yourself when you got started. So it's that person that you have to know that you're going to help. So, in your case, your plan might be having a salon in every major city.
No.
If you do.
No.
I can educate.
Or if not,
Regulate.
you push hard 1-2 years. One of your students did her first training after what? A year of doing classic, and then she offered a classic training or something like that. So it's the girl that works in the police. So it's there's nobody can tell you, oh, you cannot do this and that. You only train the type of technique that you're really good at, and then you take it one step at a time from there. Like it's there's no specific number of how many years or how many months, right? Like it's the same time like here, like, right? How many clients or how many people you should offer your services for free until you feel comfortable. One person might be comfortable after one person might be comfortable after 2 years.
Right.
Like who am I to say, or who's like, right? Like
It's not for you. There's something else.
Well, it really depends. In my opinion, it's also, time is irrelevant when I say a month or 2 years. All right, maybe that person in a month, they had 12-hour days that they did practice. And the person in 2 years, maybe they did once a week, 2 hours. Of course, it's all relevant based on how much time and effort you put into it. But first, you pick, based on your market research and your best friend, ChatGPT, come up with a name, make sure it's available. You look on the platforms to make sure that it's not used already. And then from there, you create these accounts, but the main focus should be Google My Business profile, Instagram, and Facebook. The moment you have your Google My Profile optimized, meaning you have your hours of operation, description, you tell ChatGPT, this is the name of my business, this is where I'm located, write in the description for Google My Business in order to be found on Google and optimize my description for search engine optimization, SEO. That's what it's called when you find it organically versus ads. Organically is gonna take a while. You have to post on Google the same way that you post on Instagram. Google only allows up to 30-second videos, but what we do, if the video is longer, we take a screenshot of the video, or maybe the thumbnail of the video. We post it with the same caption that's on Instagram, just to show Google you're active every day. You're gonna have 0 clients. You should still post on Google because that one takes time. It takes a while to get some traction. But every post should end with book your or get a discount or book your next lash appointment with name of the business. And we have a limited time, or redeem our limited time offer. And by the way, you always have only 3 to 4 spots available during that month. You always run a promotion. And when eventually somebody does become a client, before the person leaves the salon, you should offer the refill, not as a yes or no question, but if you realize, all right, the person came Wednesday or Thursday, you can tell them, and you'll see based on their face expression, like, oh, they're happy, whatever, look in the mirror. I said, awesome. So looking at the schedule, the refills are in 2 weeks. Based on my availability now, I have available Wednesday at, and then you remember what time they came, or Thursday at the same time. Which one of these two work the best for you? Not, would you like to book your refill? Because that gives them the option to say, no, I don't want to book my refill, I'll let you know. No, I have Wednesday and Thursday available at 3 p.m. and Thursday at 12 p.m. Which one of these work best? It's just you always have to have the sales hat on when the service is done, right? You have the marketing hat on when you do videos. You have the sales hat on. You have the service hat on. No, you have the marketing hat on when you do the videos. You have the sales hat on when the phone rings. You have the service, which is the lash tech hat on when the person comes and gets their lashes done. And then you have to know when to switch back. You go from one to another, because it's one way to talk to people to make them happy with the service, but then with the same tone is just using different psychology to sell them something, right? And so once you have a couple posts on Google, for Instagram you need 9. You probably have 9 photos already from this class from these days, right? You look at the posts that Cosmina has for the actual salon, you can inspire from there. There's no point to copy word for word. Eventually you select the wording and you give it to ChatGPT to rewrite it for your own business. And then once you have all of these on, based on the market research, you look at your competitors and see what offers they have. So when we did this for the first time, what was the one that they closed in assembly? No, Lash Lounge. I think they had a 50% off for lashes as an offer. It's a pretty big offer, but so then being a franchise, we were like, all right, we're not gonna reinvent the wheel. Let's go with this. So we started the same offer. It performed really good on Instagram. And then when people came in the salon, because I had 2 photos printed and laminated with how the plastic set looked and how the volume set looked. When you look at them side by side, of course, 99% of clients said, "Oh, I want volume." Perfect, not a problem. The offer that you sign up was for plastic. Volume is not 50% off, right? But nobody had a problem with that. The whole thing is that the traffic was driven based on that offer. People came to the door, and it's all ethical. You just show people, right, these are the 2. This is the offer that you opt in. If you want this, it's fine. We can go ahead and do it. But no, 99% of them wanted the other one for the logical sense, right? So once you're confident with your ability to do the set in whatever time, you decide, all right, I want to do it in 2 hours a full set and 1 hour refill. Okay, you have the Instagram account set with 9 posts. The Facebook is integrated with Instagram, and the Google listing optimized. Now you're ready to start running some ads. You said, I want 40 clients on. All right, it's probably gonna take you the first 10 to understand what the conversion rate will be. I said, try to shoot for 50%, but at first it might be less, right? Maybe the first 10, maybe you'll convert 3. That's fine. It's not ideal, but you have to keep going. It shouldn't be, not everybody will require a phone call because it's not a huge ask, right? Like if you realize all your competitors are charging 150, and let's say you start with 130, right? It's not a huge ask for a number. So a lot of people might not even want a phone call. A lot of people might just want to send a text. That's totally cool. But remember I said at the beginning, don't be afraid to give people $25 to refer your client. Why? Because let's say now you start with $10 a day on Google, and then you also start with $10 a day on Instagram, right? It's 300. That's $600. Let's say you get, let's make the numbers easy. Let's say it's $10 per lead. So you get 30 leads on Google, 30 leads on Instagram. It's probably gonna be less, but to make the numbers easy. If you do get a 50% conversion out of 30 leads, you should book 15, right? The other 15 will come from Instagram. My opinion would be it'll be easier to convert at first on Google because of the intent. On the intent meaning people searching for lash artist near me, lash salon near me, lash tech near me. They search for, I want to get that service. On Instagram, you're gonna have to put that 50% offer if that's something that you realize your competitors are doing. So, in the first month, you have, or in the first run, let's say you have 30 clients, or maybe you have 20, right? From there, you'll have to refine the process a little bit. You'll see, all right, which one is more profitable? Google, all right, let's get $5 from here and let's put it back here. Don't, if you see, let's say at $10 a day, you realize, oh, this is actually profitable. Don't just go immediately to like $100 a day, right? Because that's the type of mistake that we did. It was profitable still, but you lose track on, all right, did I get the deposit from this person? Like at first it's gonna be a little manual thing, right? So you have to kind of find your ways. The same way, like when I said, you have to record videos to find your own voice. It's the same thing here. You don't need too many things. You need a Stripe account to be able to charge the deposit and to charge the full amount. And also you have to make it, this is funny, 2 days ago I had a podcast and it was two of us that were interviewed. And the question was, what would be one thing, if you choose just one thing in a service to be very happy at the first experience? And the person asked if the experience is as painless as possible, meaning if I call them, do they answer? Am I able to book over the phone right away, or I have to go in person, right? Like you have to make it as easy as possible for people to book. Like remember when you called, because you saw all the video testimonials, you saw all the previous students that they did, right? The class. Then you went on Instagram, but then eventually when you wanted to pay the deposit, it was just a link that was sent, or maybe an invoice or right, sent to you. Try to replicate that ease of implementation in this case, right? And then feel free to ask when time comes, the platform that you need to charge clients with, it's stripe.com. But you have to go to irs.gov and create a tax ID number, because you don't want to charge people on your social. Because that was another mistake that I did in 2015, not knowing this. I created a sole prop, meaning almost like a contractor, and that's the worst thing that you can do. Like the bank doesn't see you as a business. It's the worst thing that you can do. The moment you're like, all right, I want to start the business, you go to irs.gov and you start an LLC, a one-person LLC. That's what it's called. You apply for a tax ID on the spot. It's gonna ask you for your social. They're gonna deliver you the letter right there on the spot. You get the social, you get the tax ID number. With that tax ID number, you'll go to your city hall. It's a Cape Cod. It's gonna be a certificate, right? Business license. I think it's called a business certificate. It's just you doing business in that specific city. It's like $30 or something like that. They'll ask you for the tax ID, so without that, you can't do it. And then you go to Google and you search for a Massachusetts LLC certificate, and you do not click on any ads. Make sure, because you're gonna click on law firm websites. The first one that has a .gov, you pay for a Massachusetts LLC certificate, which is $500 a year. It's the price of doing business in Massachusetts. And that one, it's either delivered as a PDF right there on the spot, or possibly takes a few hours until you get an email.
So do I need all of this before I have my own business?
In theory, the short answer, yes. The long answer is, if you're not 100% sure that you want to turn this as a full-time business, all right, start by charging people on Venmo and Cash App. It's not the most professional way, but if you, let's say, you want to do it on the side and you don't know, do I do this? Do I want to do this full time? I don't.
How much time should I give to myself to see if I want to do it or not? Like a year?
That's just that's
Remember
not
I
that's an
said
answer
they
to ask.
asked me that.
But because it's so different to
Could be a
anybody.
month, could be a year.
Right.
It really
That's what
depends how.
thinking.
Yeah.
I would
How's the
say
answer for myself?
if you start, let's say you have a couple friends that you're gonna ask them to come for free so you can actually practice. And by the way, when you do that, you should ask for a 5-star review on Google, because so don't ask them to come until you have the Google listing created, and then when they get ask them for a 5-star review, because if you offer your service for free, at least a 5-star review, it's super valuable for you. Now, my honest opinion is, even if you don't do it full time, even if you end up, I don't know, it was a student that said, what if I get a job at a salon first? That's a valid point, right? Like if you want to pretty much get paid to practice, you can do that. You can see the ins and out of another business, how they operate, how they do it. Is it the most, in my opinion, anything that you do that doesn't, like if you make a plan, any decision should be made based on supporting that plan. Because if you're just quote unquote half-ass it and not go all in, you can go all in and decide, I mean, nothing is gonna, you're gonna lose what? $600 in total. If you decide, let's say you do this and you decide a year later, I don't want to do this anymore, this gets diluted. That's it. You do your taxes and that's it. But you do it 1 year half-assed, and then you want to start all of this, you just lost a year that could have built your business credit, that could have allowed you to, in front of the bank, to show that you start having income. You pretty much lost 1 year of chances of getting the business credit line. Like anything that you use from the moment you start spending money should be on a business credit card. Now the bank is not going to open a business account without having the business certificate.
Right.
It is a little bit of a stretch at first. There's $500 there and $30 there, and some time to do that. It's just the price of business. It's again, I didn't know about the whole business certificate, and I opened a sole proprietorship. And in 2016, I had to pretty much start it from scratch, and all the banks did not even count the 2015 experience. So my honest opinion is, the worst thing that can happen is after a year, I mean, you wouldn't lose $600 because you will make those money back. It's just, it's more like deciding, all right, I'm gonna go all in and do this, and then I'll decide later, or based on my ability to do certain things, if I want to do something else. And then, by the way, when you do the LLC, don't stress too much about not having the full business name yet, because you can always do a DBA. It's called doing business as. You can add and change as many times as possible. You should, let's say you do one Cape Cod Lashes LLC. That's just the legal name. Meaning, let's say it takes you 2-3 days to go to ChatGPT and do the research and whatnot, and then you realize all the names are taken, and you get frustrated. Don't let that stop you, right? Because you can always add the DBA. It's an extension of the actual business, and you can we changed it 3 times until we got to this name. It was Limitless Beauty, and then it was Limitless. First time was Limitless, but then it was Limitless Beauty, and then Limit Lashes. So it's it doesn't start with the best version. So it's don't stress too much about it. So tax ID, and then once you have all of those, let Cosmina know. I'll put you in touch with the guy that handles all my insurance policies. How much do you pay? $200-300 a year? $200 a year for $1 million in liability. Even though I mean, especially because you rent the place when you stay now.
Now, yes, for now.
So even more in that case, because God forbid something happens, a client comes to your place, they slip and break a leg or something like that. You don't want the liability to be on you personally. If you put your address on the insurance policy, it's the business that can go after. So when you create all of this that I told you, you create an entity separate from yourself that doesn't allow someone, like if God forbid something happens, they don't come to get your car, or they don't come to get, let's say you own a house or whatever in Cape Cod, or they can only come for what the business owns. So in this case, because the business owns what's like the equipment, the thing, right? It's and that's something, you know, God forbid you drop. I only say about this, I've never heard the scenario, but glue, you put it in somebody's eye, like, you know, they get to urgent care and the bill is $2,000, whatever, right? You don't want that liability on you personally. It's unlikely to happen, but winters are winters in here. So when somebody comes up to your place, right? Like it's all relevant, but it's relevant to the scenario itself. But in my opinion, it also makes you understand, all right. And when you go at the bank, they see that you're a legit, you know, business. You get a business account under the business name, not under you personally. Anything that you buy with the business credit card does not affect your personal credit score. It's all based on the business credit score now. And that can go up and down the same way that the personal does. But a year later, let's say you make the first year $70K in income in sales, not profit. The bank sees that. You ask for a $10,000 line of credit, and now you have money when you want to rent this place, but you don't spend your personal credit or credit lines. You do it under the business, and it's a huge difference. So to kind of go back to your plan, the one thing that you have to really pay attention at first, of course, outside of your ability to handle the service, is to make sure that, one, you look at advertising campaigns and the referral program that we mentioned at first with the $25 business card option when you give to servers or anybody that you meet. And so that would be one, because it's more like the lead generation, right? Customer acquisition plan. And then second is the conversion rate, to see what people, and then again, you do market research on that too. You call a couple places, see how they interact, see what questions they ask, because you're most likely gonna have three different types of clients. One, they've never had lashes before, so you have to know how to talk to that person, because if they've never had lashes before and they call you, you have to explain them why it's a good idea, because of, you know, time that you're gonna save them and whatnot. Second is the person that had a bad experience with a lash tech. So now that person comes with a negative annotation on the whole thing. Now you have to change their opinion. And the best way to change it is, of course, reviews and ideally video testimonials. Some of the girls that will come at first, ask them for a video testimonial. And then third would be the person that didn't have a bad experience, but they just had their lash tech leave the state. Maybe they're, you know, God forbid, sick or whatever. So they might come, you know, once in a while with you. But it's still a valid type of clientele that you have to remember, that you still have to nurture them. And then the people that don't convert at first, don't be afraid to send them a text a couple days later and ask them, hey, by the way, do you know that we have first weekend of the month offer for an additional $10 off. Or, hey, do you know somebody? And you can still get $25. Even if they didn't end up coming, they can still make $25 if they recommend to somebody, right? So it's a process that just has to be followed. For you to also find your voice when you sell. The most authentic and to not feel salesy at all is to have your content, the videos and the photos and the reviews, do most of the selling. That's why when a friend recommends you a client, that person comes sold like 98% of the times. You don't do any selling. But when somebody comes from Google or Instagram and they've never had an interaction with you, you kind of have to put the sales hat on and understand, well, this person is different than Danielle that came last week from my cousin's wedding, whatever, right? Don't, let's say at first you have a lot of, high percentage conversions coming from referrals, and then you start the online campaigns and you see a drop. Don't think like, oh, I suck at this, I shouldn't be. No, it's normal. Like, these people don't know you. They've never had an interaction with you. It's just your job is now to, how did you end up going to Cosmina's Instagram? Did she tell you, follow me on Instagram so you can see? It is, yeah, so she has all the account, but not everybody will go to Instagram to follow. So that's why I'm asking just to.
Maybe we're just lazy.
No, not a lot of people go.
But if you make a really good job at sharing your behind the scenes on Instagram, push people to go from, even though they find you on Google, tell them, hey, by the way, go to my Instagram and see what happens or to see more clients of mine. Some people just want to have reinforced the way that it's a good idea to come to you. It's a good choice that I come to your place, right? And then you see other people, and then that's how the video testimonials do a lot of the sales job for her, because it's one thing for you to talk good about yourself or your business in this case, but it's a whole different thing for someone else to say their experience. Because now, if you want something, you want to get certified and you want the diploma, seeing somebody else having it, now you see yourself in their shoes. So it's the same way for you. And then again, not everybody will be okay with being on camera and leave reviews or testimonials, and that's fine too. All right, I don't want to make this too painful. Any end of the session questions?
No, I'm good. I will start from those points you gave to me. So
Feel free to reach out to any of us. I mean, if it's marketing related, feel free to DM me directly on Instagram or have questions. I always have, like, if you watch my page, you see a lot of the questions that are actually coming from a lot of the end of the day sessions here, because there are questions that at first we were not recording this, and I'm like, but there are a lot of questions that are actually really good. We should record these because.
So what did we ask you? What was the most common question you asked?
When is the right time to raise my prices? When?
We talked about it.
But that's typically the number one, and then it depends on what level every student is in terms of how, some people, like in your case, you might have a lot of questions after you start. After you start all of this, and then you're like, oh, how do I, like on Instagram, how do I do whatever? How do I start the first campaign, or how do I, like all kinds of questions. But when is the right time to raise my prices? When it's the right time to move from a living room to a actual salon? Which one is, if it's one platform only to run ads, which one that is? Questions about
Facebook or Instagram?
Or Google, like I use, so if I would be choosing just one, let's say for whatever reason you cannot do 3 of them, I would say start with Google. But the visual part, it's still on Instagram. However, it's all based on the ideal client avatar. If you realize your Jenny is 50 plus, I don't know if she's using that much Instagram. Maybe she's not. But it's just the idea. At first, all right, you start with one, let's say. But nowadays, like, you have to be like, people have, if your competitors all have, or even if they don't, in order for you to acquire a lot more clients that, you know, might want to go to them, but they can find them on all these other platforms. And by the way, on Facebook, you don't even have to post, because if you connect Instagram with Facebook page, and every time you post on Instagram, it's automatically shared to Facebook. So you don't do any extra work. And even when you, remember I said at the beginning, start a Pinterest account, start the YouTube channel, even if you don't post, just to be able to have all the links with the same business name, because that will have an impact on how Google sees you, especially at first, because you have no history. Good?
Thank you.
I'm sure, I don't doubt that you'll do a great job. It's just, in my opinion, you shouldn't expect it to be easy. You should expect it to be simple to implement. But shouldn't because if it would be easy, everybody would do it, right? Like it's just that simple to think about. Like anything that I do, I want it to, like, if I feel like it's too simple, it's too easy, like this doesn't, like, I don't think this is that valuable. Because if it's that easy and anybody can figure it out. Now, if it has to do with the actual work itself, it's not something that I can necessarily relate to and give any advice. But this, and especially the content, and that should be uncomfortable at first, because we're not born with a phone in front of us and us talking directly into the camera. But from there, like, especially as you said, I want to eventually teach other people, and you like to
I see myself more teaching rather than opening the salons. That's the way I look myself.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's the best way for that is, right, how in order for you to start feeling comfortable teaching other people is to teach on camera at first, because it's nobody else.
What you're teaching first. That's the most important. You need to know what you're teaching.
True. But you get, you connect the dots at the same time.
You should look good to look good on camera. That's another point. To look good.
Well, you can. There are tricks on camera to how to
minimize yourself.
To how to and think about this. I'm not sure if I agree 100%. Of course, somebody that it's in the, let's say somebody's in the fitness industry. Like we had this conversation all the time. There are some trainers at a gym that we go, and some of them, point blank, are fat.
But
I'm like,
you both are very good-looking people. That attracts a lot of customers too. Like that's how my parents run businesses too. Like before we even open the door, we make sure that everything nice, neat, clean, and ready for them to come in.
True.
We how to say, like my parents, they don't have any debt, like houses, mansions. It's them full, but because we like work for them, it's not like, it's not that easy. Like everybody.
But again, if it would be easy, everybody.
Yeah,
and going back to the debt part, I'm not that afraid of debt when it comes to business debt. Personal debt, yes, it's. I mean, I shouldn't say it's stupid to have like a lot of things that you cannot afford just because you want them, but then you put. But business debt is different. If you can get a loan, let's say I get a loan from the bank and the interest rate is 10%, and I can do something with that money to make 15% more, and I can give the bank the 10% interest, and I still have it's free money pretty much, right? I don't see that as a problem. Or like, for example, let's say you go and get a house, even if it's $1 million, and you put let's say 20% down, and then the mortgage is $4,000, but then you put the house on Airbnb and you make
Yeah, that's
7,500.
investment. That's different.
Exactly. Personal debt, yes, it's a whole different thing. But when you are a business owner, you can make a lot of the. You shouldn't record this. As a business owner, a lot of the personal debt can become business debt if you know how to maneuver some of the things, right?
Right.
Tashir, make sure you edit this thing out. I don't want to see it on the internet. This is my assistant, my virtual assistant. No, but I mean, it's true, right? Like, we go now after this training and have a dinner.
Yeah, we were talking
I'm-
about this.
It's her business. If she pays with her business card, I came in here as a consultant, and I was here for an hour. So now we go and have dinner and discuss business. If I pay with my business card, well, guess what? It's my business, and Cosmina spent an hour and a half staying next to me here, helping me with my well-being, right? So now it's us talking business over dinner. No, but I mean, it's a legit thing.
Like
So
the food that I buy for students, like coffee and everything that I buy. Same.
So that's why a lot of the stuff that I told you to do in there, it's for the sake of, all right, now you in front of the bank, the moment they allow you to have a business account and then you apply for a business credit card, from that point on, anything that you buy for the business, it's all tax deductible. Now, of course, you punch in there a few snacks and a few, there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to, and even not just that, your rent, half of it, because you have no other office, no salon.
Right.
More than half is going to be your place of business. That's going to be tax deductible. The rent, the electricity, that's going to be tax deductible, 70% of it, because you're going to be there 100% of the time, right? Yes, you sleep there too, but that's why it's only 70% and it's not 100%. It's a valid point. Like, it's anything else that, something breaks in the house, well, guess what? I'm not able to do my business if this is happening.
Right.
Brand up,